Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're doing an updated support tier list for SMITE Alpha CA8. That's closed Alpha 8, update 1.8, however you prefer to call it. Figured this is a great time to make a new updated tier list since there's been a lot of changes to the support role, a lot of new items, a lot of shifts, a lot of new characters especially. So here we go. The next video, or tier list video specifically, will be in January when they release out Geb and all that stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here, I have the God Pool on the left. I have broken it down by categories. So we have the Guardians. These are the SMITE 1 category. So Guardians, Warriors, Mages, Assassins, and then your dudes down here, like Hunters. I think Cupid will probably be the only Hunter ever added to this list. Who knows? They might do some crazy stuff in the future, but yeah. I could throw on here in Honor Genetics, but I don't play on her support like ever, so I can't put that on here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we're going to start off with Guardians, and we're going to start with Ares. Ares, unfortunately, is not a great character. He does a lot of damage, and that's phenomenal. You know, it's a burst meta for sure. Has been the entire alpha, I think. And that hasn't changed. But that being said, he just dies so fast, so I have to put him in B tier here because really he does damage. And again, that's phenomenal, but the damage just isn't enough to warrant picking him. You're going to have to really build a team around him. Like if you go Ares, you're going to have to get like a Poseidon and a Zeus, but those characters are probably going to be banned anyway. I mean, maybe not right now with Pele and whatnot, but you're having to build around him, right, to utilize the ult. But even then, he just dies in the ult because ADCs are so strong, they just kill you regardless of prots. It's kind of annoying. But I digress. Yeah, he's just in B tier. He's not the best pick. You have to build a team around him, so that's why he's going in here. You know, he's not awful. I want to stress that B tier is not bad. It's just that, like, you can't reliably play him without building a team around him, you know? Next up, we have Athena. And Athena is in B tier for pretty much, I want to say, the exact same reasons. She's kind of a bait character, in my opinion. That's a little weird to say, but it's true, unfortunately. She kind of, I don't know, in SMITE 1, she was one of the best characters for support, period. But in SMITE 2, she's just super lackluster, and it's just really annoying. You know, her taunt is a phenomenal ability. I think we can all agree on that. However, you taunt somebody and they just kill you. You know, as I said previously, this is a burst meta. And although Athena is a fun character to play in support, you know, her ultimate is amazing. She has free map-wide rotations that grant shields and mitigations. She just doesn't have the burst, really, to be kind of played in the burst that she lacks. She doesn't have the survivability. She has really great peel, but again, you're kind of having to build the comp around her, right? She's kind of good with split push comps, because if your split pusher gets dove, you're able to ult to them and kind of help them get out, or even turn the fight and have them kill. But again, that's having to build the comp around them, which is why she's in B tier. Next up, we have Bacchus. Bacchus is going into A+. You know, in my first video, Bacchus was absolutely the best support. I think that was clear. I don't think anyone had any doubts about that. You know, Bacchus was just literally amazing. He was broken, everything scaled off of his prots. He was able to build full tank and still one-shot people. It was beautiful. He's fallen off a little bit. He's not an S, but I still think he's A+. I think he should be prioritized. He has built-in anti-heal, which is better now that there is more healers in the game. His engage is some of the best in the game. Bacchus flop is amazing engage and good peel. He has a stun as well, also good peel. His ultimate, amazing damage. He's super tanky. He offers a lot to the team. He doesn't have any on-demand peel, which is a bit of a drawback, so keep that in mind. But in the lack of on-demand peel, he makes up for it heavily with the damage. So he's a fun character. He's a very good fight starter and fight ender. Highly recommend picking him up. Khepri. Khepri, for the longest time when he came out in SMITE 2, I was pissed. I was like, this god sucks. I was like, I don't know, man. Similar to like Athena and Ares, Khepri just did not feel good in SMITE 2. And then I started to understand him a little bit more, and I got to really understand the differences between him and SMITE 2 and SMITE 1. And now I have been Radiant. He is my first Radiant support. Love that. He's a fun character to play. The 2 applying to himself now is phenomenal. The explosion at the end of the 2, granting a longer duration of it. Phenomenal. This character, I love him so much. I don't think he's an S, but he might be an S. I definitely think compared to Bacchus, I'm picking him over Bacchus. So I'm going to put him here. Actually, let me do it this way. There we go. Yeah, I'm definitely picking him over Bacchus, but I don't think he's quite broken just because his ult can, you know, there's a lot of executes right now, especially with Sobek. We're going to talk about him right after this, but yeah, he's definitely not, you pick this character to win the game, but he can definitely carry you via peel. You know, his peel is off the charts. The stuff this man is able to offer his team in the peel department really cannot be overstated. He is a phenomenal character, and I really just don't want him to get overlooked ever. You know, his 2 provides you and your teammates mitigations while providing physical prot shred to the enemy team. He has a really good pluck ability, which is able to peel for your team, but also just look at one character and not let them play the game. He has a ranged root, which is really nice. And he has that revive ultimate that also grants movement speed. It's phenomenal. He's a great character. I will say another reason why I'm not putting him in S is his dash is horrendous in Smite 2. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a desync issue. I don't know if it's a game issue, or maybe it might just be a me issue. I don't know. But there are a lot of times where you'll go to pluck somebody and you'll just straight up go through them, or it'll like glitch for 3 seconds and then you'll end up plucking somebody else somehow. Or it'll just like on your screen, it'll hit them for like a solid second and then it'll glitch out and show you that you just missed. And then on somebody else's screen, it'll just look like you completely missed. I've had that happen at least once a game, every single game that I've played him, meaning it's completely consistent, but it's also consistently inconsistent, you know? So it's one of those things where that needs to get addressed. It's been in here for a while, so I don't think it will for a while, but, yeah, that is something to know. That's another reason why he's not going to S. But anyway, that's Khepri. Let's go ahead and move on to Sobek. Sobek is an S, guaranteed. This character is completely unkillable if you get a lead. He has a built-in execute that makes him even tankier later on, and it heals him for an ungodly amount. It's absolutely annoying. He is much better in the solo lane, I will say, much better, because he's able to get that lead a lot easier, and he doesn't really lose to anybody, even mages and who can clear lane instantly, because he just kills them. This character is an absolute monster right now. The nerf they gave him in this update was not enough. He should be picked if he's open, or give him to your solo. Hopefully give him to the solo. He's just so good in solo. But yeah, there's really not much to say. He has built-in anti-heal, 2 amazing forms of peel and CC. The pluck is great for securing a kill, but also for literally healing somebody off of your off your backline. That's what the word means. The tail whip knockup, phenomenal heal ability that also does a lot of damage. And of course the execute, which if you get Eye of the Storm, makes it impossible to leave. Fun fact, you just channel Eye of the Storm while you're ulting somebody, and that combined with the slow, they actually cannot walk out no matter what they do. It is the funniest thing in the world. And that's why he's an S. He can completely carry a team. You just get so fed. You can do what you want to do. The execute ignores Khepri revive. Fun fact for those of you that don't know that. And he's just a phenomenal character. Pick him every time. Yamoja is the best support ever. I cannot stress that enough. However, for the average Smite player, she's probably in B tier. She's a very hard character. I know there's like the meme about like just spam on the keyboard. That's how you play Yamoja. But no, there's a lot of nuance to this character. And she really is a very hard mechanical character to learn and support. But if you're a master of Yamoja, she can offer things that no other support in this game can dream of. You know, she has decent healing, but she has phenomenal shielding. You know, in my last video, I talked about broken Yamoja tech where you can pop Staff of Midran and it completely refills your Omi bar. Don't think that's going to stay in the game for too long, But even that, other cooldown reset items like Spear Desto work on her, and you're just able to, in the late game, heal your entire team for like 2,000 and then shield them all for a collective total of like 6,000 each, and that's shielding. And it's just up so often, so that's amazing. And her 2 also breaks enemy shields. So she completely hard counters a lot of that. Like, she's really good at Nemesis because her 2 just completely breaks Nem shield and it doesn't heal her. Or actually, I think it heals her for a little bit, but it doesn't give her the full amount. Her 3, great ability. You're able to keep people in fights. You're able to give yourself and teammates a lot of movement speed. Gives you prots and teammates prots as well. Great for traveling the map. Great for getting your team out of shitty situations, and phenomenal for killing people that would have otherwise got away. You put a portal in front of them, they get bounced back towards you, just locks them in, man, they just die. And her ultimate is amazing. Completely locks out a lane. You know, you can cover the entire width of a lane with her ult, and they can't leave unless they have shell or they have like a leap or something. And even then, the Omi region, you get in the ult, just being able to spam the 1 constantly, doing thousands of damage, because unlike Smite 1, Yemoja actually does damage in Smite 2, and it's really funny. In Smite 1, she really didn't do a lot of damage, but in Smite 2, don't know what they did, but she actually has a lot of burst, especially if you go Glad Shield, so she's really strong. I'm gonna put her in A+, solely because of what I said earlier. The average Smite player is not going to use her to the best of her ability, and that's just a true fact. Like, I can't say that enough. So she's gonna go high A+, but if you are a good support and you're a good mechanical player, really look into this character, practice her a lot, and she will, I think she's better than Sobek and can do so much for the team. Forgot to mention, her 1 can stun towers in Phoenixes. So if you pair her with an ADC that is going like the Sunbeam Bow build, you just tank it for them, and that Phoenix is dead within like 3 seconds, and there's just straight up nothing they can do about it. I think Sunbeam Bow, another item that needs to get nerfed, just allows you to kill tanks, but that's not my place. This is a support channel. But yeah, she just does so much for the team. And again, if you're a good player, S. If you're an average player, A+ or probably lower. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, for the Guardians, we have Ymir, the Frost Giant. I think this guy goes an A. He's a very balanced support. He's very tanky, has lots of damage, especially in the early game, which really matters. That like level 1 through 5 laning phase before you start to rotate. Man, you're autoing for like 110, 120 sometimes. You can invade really well and potentially even get a kill if they're not careful. The freeze is a really good ability. His wall, one of the best abilities in the game, because it just completely blocks access, or again, locks him in, similar to Umoja. Lack of mobility, which is why he's not higher. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but he has really good damage. Similar to Sobek, he uses Eye of the Storm phenomenally well. You pop ult, pop Eye of the Storm, they straight up cannot leave. It's so funny. Guarantees the full hit. Unless they'd like dash out or beads out, which is worth it for you. So yeah, he's just an A. He's a very balanced character. Very balanced support. You know, he offers a lot. He's not going to win you a game, but he might, you know, if he gets fed, he might win you a game. He's really cool. And yeah, so that's the Guardians. Let's go ahead and now talk about the Warriors. So first up on here, we have Amaterasu. She is going in A little bit behind Ymir. She's a great, actually, no. She is going high B, very high B, because she's very good, but again, you need to build around her. She lacks a lot of peel, so you need hunters that have good self peel. That's really important, actually. She is really good at controlling the game. You're able to get a strong lead early, and then you're able to kind of dominate with that. Very good objective burn. She buffs her allies' attack damage and movement speed, you know, making her movement really good and her rotation really strong. She has a silence in the 3, which is amazing. And her ultimate is great in a team fight, can completely turn around a team fight. And new Eros bow, she actually uses that really well because she's a primary auto attack character, and it actually makes going auto attack support a little bit more viable. So, you know, while you're in there, you're also healing your teammates for like 60 in auto if you have the right build, sometimes even up to 90 in auto, which is insane. So definitely high B, because She really requires a good team to do well, though. She's not carrying a game on her own, typically, but and combine her with some other attack speed characters. You put a Shogun's on her with that war flag. Oh, you are winning that game probably like 60-70% of the time if you're a good Alma player, which is again why she's in, because you just really require other good teammates in your team as well. Require the team to be built around her. But unlike Ares and Athena, she actually can have a lot more carry potential. So like realistically, if I had a B+ on this list, she would be in B+. But yeah, she's very good. Highly recommend her. Hercules is going in A. Honestly, I'm gonna put him a little bit behind Ymir. He does a lot of damage, lots of damage. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Dude does so much damage, but he's also so unkillable. The only thing is, he doesn't really have. You can't really build like a solo lane build on him in support and do that well, just because you're not gonna be as leveled as you normally would in solo. So he's not able to do some of the same things like he would in solo. But that being said, he's still able to innovate really well. He's able to just dive the back line and kind of get out. The problem is with him, you're going to, again, need some more self-peel on your team. So realistically, there's an argument to be made that he belongs on B because of that. Like you really need to build around him. But that being said, on his own, he really is able to carry a game. I know a lot of people don't like him. I kind of disagree with that. He's very hard to kill, and he's a very good character once you get a lead, and he's usually able to get a lead very easily in duo. So I'd recommend picking him. His ult's really good in Smite 2 now. The knock-up on it is amazing, and he does so much damage, and he combos really well with a lot of characters. So that's just my 2 cents. Odin, I think, is low B tier. I don't think he's quite in C. I think another character goes there. But that being said, I do think that he offers something. You know, he doesn't offer nothing. He offers something. You're usually picking this to counterpick somebody. Like if they have a lot of healers, probably pick an Odin because this ult is 100% anti-heal. But other than that, he just doesn't really do much in the support role. You really want this guy in jungle or solo, which is why he's in low B. You can play him support. He gives the team attack speed. He has lots of shielding for tanking objectives, does damage, does have a stun technically. Not a great one, but it's there. But really, you're just picking him to counterpick healers is why you'd be playing him in support if your solo or jungle didn't want to play him. That's it. That's really all there is. So yeah, there's not much to be said there. Next up, we have Baron Samedi. Phenomenal pick. High A+. I think over Bacchus. Like immediately, don't even need to think about this too much. Baron is a crazy good support. He does so much damage while being so tanky. You build this guy Bruiser Mage, where you focus more on defense and then get damage later if you need it. Because honestly, his just base scaling is so high, and you're able to heal the team, and you have so much CC. There's just so much this character does. It's phenomenal. Plus, Baron's Brew is one of the best items in the game. Gives your team a free multi-pot that also does damage. Cannot get overstated how good this character is. He did receive a pretty hefty nerf, which would have put him here, probably above or around where this emoji is right now. But right now he's here and a little bit behind Kepri. Get good at Baron support. I've always loved a Baron support, but one of my favorite mages to play in the support role. He's just really good. Build him, like I said, go more tanky focused rather than damage focused, because he just has such high base scaling. And then like later on in the build, if you really want to, you can get like a world stone, maybe a totem of death for some pen, and just vibe. He does so well, man. I love that character. Hades, I'm torn on because he's kind of a troll pick. If you are, how do I want to put this? I'm going to put him in C. People are going to get really mad at me for doing that, but people are probably going to get mad at me for even including him on this list, so I don't care. The reason I did include him is because people play him in support, and I played him in support. It actually works pretty well. If you go staff and Midra and you're able to dash like 8 times, it's not 8, it's closer to 4, but you can do some crazy stuff with him. He really controls a fight really well, but the problem is you really need to be good at what you're doing to pick him. You're not picking him and expecting to support for your team. You're picking him and expecting to frag and support. Like when you've gone on like a 4-game loss streak and you just need to win a game, but you've lost because your team just wasn't doing enough damage, bam, full damage Hades support. What's his name? Awesome Jake does that a lot. And it's not a bad pick. It's in C. Don't let that scare you. It's like, it's a very specific mindset you have to be in. It's very similar to Fenrir support. For those of you that are experienced with that, but it's like worse because it's just way more consistent. That's why he's in C. Realistically, you give this guy like one more CC in his kit, he's probably in like low A. But yeah, I mean, there's just not really too much to talk about. Like, you can go this. You can definitely frag on this, especially in high ranked lobbies, because they're just not expecting it. There's so many things have to go right for it to be good. You have to get a lead. You have to build a certain way. You have to be good at this character, and you already have to be good at support to understand like the fundamentals of where to roam, what to do, stuff like that. So, and your team also has to build a lot of their own self peel. So that's why he's here. Next character is Hecate. This character sucks. Not in mid. This character sucks in support. I don't know why she's even listed as a support in the game, because she just is not a great support at all. She does a lot of damage, and that's so cool, but her 3 is such a bad ability. For those of you that don't know, her 3 it gives you a shield, or your allies a shield, but it only shields against magical damage, which is so stupid. It just make it a normal shield. This character probably goes again up in A. But yeah, that's just a bad ability, man. Her 3 is so bad. Her ult's a really cool ability, but it also can really fuck up your team. And then you're going to be sad because you just don't have any other peel. Because really, that's all it is. She just does a lot of damage and then has a shield and then her ult. Other than that, not a great support. Do not recommend picking her. That's why I put her worse than Hades. I think Hades is a lot better. I'd rather have that than Hecate support any day of the week. Morgan, low B. She can turn into other people. You can do some crazy stuff. You can have double Kraken, double Hunter, instantly destroy an objective. Like, you can do Fire Giant, less than a minute, very fast, really cool, and fun and interactive, obviously. But also she has really good rotation ability. She can turn invisible, gets lots of movement speed, has a really nice stun, a lot of range on her too. Her 2 is really nice. Problem is, her early game is horrendous in duo, and again, you need to build around her, which is why she's in B. I think she's a little bit better than Hades personally, but honestly, I put her equal to that. To be honest, I don't really want to see you playing this, but you can do it if you want to, and your team is aware. Like, sometimes it's really nice to have just like a double. Like, for instance, let's say you have someone in your team go Sobek solo, and you want 2 Sobeks. There you go. That would be a phenomenal use case and why you'd go to the Morgan, especially if your teammates are like a Danzaburo or a Cernus and they have their own like self peel. Bam, there you go. There's the use case. But yeah, you have to really build around her, similar to like Odin and whatnot. She's kind of a counter pick, but also like a synergy pick to your own team. So it's just better in other roles, honestly, too, because like you kind of want to build her damage anyway. And in support, what you do is you build her full defense, so that way you just don't die, and then you go full defense cooldown, and then you also don't die, but then you have your ult up really fast, and you can just keep turning into people who do damage. So yeah. Aphrodite. No, I don't think she's broken. I think she's really annoying. I think she's personally, I think she's a little bit better. I think her and Baron are pretty equal. Not better than Baron, but I think they're pretty equal. She has a lot of healing, lots of healing, lots of damage. She has a really nice stun that's up pretty frequently. Her ultimate is like Kepri ult. It's a free Aegis that also CC cleanses, and it's a dash now, which is amazing. If you get focused, which you will on Afro, you're not gonna do great at all, because you're gonna be so far behind. You're not gonna heal for anything. You're not gonna do any damage. But that being said, she does offer a lot in support now, especially with the new heal items and a lot of that stuff. So I'd recommend picking her. She synergizes really well with a lot of other characters in the game. So definitely recommend picking her up, learning her kit if you haven't already. I thoroughly enjoy her, and I think you will too. There's not much to be said about her. If you've seen this character, played her, you know how strong she is. Aphrodite is a very strong mage support. If you like playing healers as like a support, highly recommend her. She heals a lot more than Baron does. Very fun time. Next pick is Fenrir. I think Fenrir is a better version of Hercules. He requires a specific playstyle similar to the other characters we've talked about, but he's able to do a lot more for your team. His ultimate is a guaranteed kill on pretty much anybody. Late game, if you hit it and they don't beads it, you just bring them into your team and they die, and you also get a lot tankier. You build this guy defense with a little bit of, like, you build him like hybrid defense and damage, and you just kind of go in. He has a very good, like, I'm gonna get this done myself character. He has a very big lack of not self peel. He has a very big lack of peel in general, other than the ult. The one's not really peel, so that's why he's behind Ymir. But you know, you're able to do a lot with this character. You're able to invade a lot. You're able to waste time because you have 2 dashes, plus you have the ult. So you're able to kind of go around, double jungle, steal their jungle camps, put them behind, while also making them chase you, and then they're wasting their time, not getting any farm. There's a lot you can do with him. He's a very specific playstyle of support, but that playstyle is very good, I will say. I don't think anyone can argue that, you know, especially if you've played against a Fenrir, you know how annoying they can be as support. But they can also suck. If their early game if they get behind at all early, worst character in the game as support. Like, the next 30 minutes are going to suck for you if you get behind at all in the early. So he's a little risky there. But yeah, that's Fenrir. And then last up, we have Cupid. I love Cupid. I don't know if I said this or not, but I think Cupid might be my favorite support next to Kuzenbo. I'm so excited for when they had Kuzenbo. Dude, what a weird time that we live in where Cupid actually does stuff in support now. You know, they changed him a lot, and he has a lot of buffs. His 3 grants attack speed to you and your team up to 20%. Phenomenal ability. 20% is a lot of free attack speed. His 2 refills your health and mana, but also your allies' health and mana. Very great sustain. It's also a lot. It's like 140 even with Pross max level per heart. But also with your passive stack, it also gives whoever picks up the hearts intelligence and strength based on your intelligence strength, which is really nice. And then he also has a stun on the 1, which is really nice. And the ultimate, being a cripple and a stun, huge AoE, is really nice. I have fucked with Cupid support so much since they added this character as like a meme, but it was actually good. And then they added Eros's bow. And for those of you that don't know, I've talked about it already, but that item heals your allies. You have to put it on one of your allies. There's a cooldown, but the cooldown lasts the entire duration of the item. And it heals them for 2% of your max health every time you hit any enemy with an auto attack. That includes minions or gods. You just hit an auto attack, allies get healed. You build him health attack speed with a little bit of intelligence. Your autos are healing for 90. Your hearts are healing for 200. And you have Rod of Asclepius, and you ignore anti-heal, and it's actually insane. And you also do a bunch of damage. But that's not the only way you have to play Cupid support. You could also go hybrid damage with Sunbeam Bow and then just double split push and just kind of win the game. There's so many options to play him. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm confident in that. But I think this dude is A+ in support. That's not a troll. I don't know if it's just I'm really good at him, or like this character's just that good. I don't know. But I fuck with this dude so heavy right now. He is by far, if he's open, I'm picking him like every game, especially with Arrow's bow, dude. That has been the amount of sustain you give your teammates with his hearts and Arrow's bow is criminal, dude. You're able to keep them alive for so long. You're able to keep fighting for so long. You're getting shoguns on him like 90% of the time because you want the attack speed, so do your teammates. So you're just inherently making them better. Plus, you dash on an objective, you and your teammates stand in his stash. They're all getting 20% of bonus attack speed. They're doing so much more damage to that thing. It's just a great time. If you haven't tried it, please go try it. So much fun. Truthfully, could not recommend it more. It's just a good time. This is what I've been excited for. You know, I've always wanted in Smite like a support that's just purely like a healer or a buff character, and he's not that, right? He does a lot of damage, but he's very close to that because he almost every part of him gives your teammates something, and that's really cool. I fuck with that so much. The 1 stuns, the 2 heals health and mana and gives power, the 3 gives movement speed and attack speed to everybody. It's so cool. The ult, big stun and cripple, like every part about him does great. He uses a lot of the new support items phenomenal, like I talked about, that arrows bow, Rod of Asclepius, War Flag, obviously, Shoguns, obviously. There's a lot of good stuff to build on him. He can be played in many different ways in support. No, I might get a lot of hate for this too, but going damage focused support is a very viable option right now. Smite is turning into Smite is becoming a lot more like League, and League has that. League has a lot of assassin supports where your main job is just 100 to 0 people and be second jungler. Smite's kind of getting close to that, and I think that's cool. I enjoy playing that way. And yeah, I like I said, I'm gonna get hate for that. I'm sure people are gonna disagree with this a lot, but fuck it. These are my honest opinions from what I have played, what I have seen, and just what I think the community as a whole can disagree with a lot of these. As a whole can agree with a lot of these. Oh, I just spoke wrong there. But, you know, some people are going to be mad because they're going to be like, oh, you put a hunter higher than a guardian in support. What the hell's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, nah, man, play Cupid support. Trust. Trust. He might be better ADC. I'm not saying you're wrong. But he is a damn good support. It's fucking crazy. I love it. I love it, though. I love all the stuff they've done. Anyway, sorry for rambling. I love Cupid support so much. He's actually becoming my new main, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's my tier list for Smite Alpha 1.8. Feel free to screenshot this, send it around, hate me, ask questions in the comments, do what you gotta do. I respond to every comment, so if you have any questions or suggestions, please ask, and I will let you know my honest answer. I will tell you, yeah, that's a good idea. If you think I'm wrong, please tell me why. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want, there would be a picture of this that exists in my Discord. I always save these and put them in there, as well as some other Smite related resources like building guides and stuff like that. So please go check that out. Thank you again for watching this really long tier list video with only a handful of support characters. I really appreciate that you did. I'm having a lot of fun with Smite too, and I hope you are as well. I love you all so much. Peace out and have a great day.